I don't know how to start these things. We just will talk. So,
Yeah,
haven't seen you in a while, man.
man.
I feel your
I mean, I've
pain.
seen you.
I feel your pain so much because I was in the same situation at least twice where you basically like, okay, you were in the place where you need to be and you couldn't compete.
Yeah.
I got my bags packed and I was on my way to airport when they said like, no, don't come. So
Yeah.
how good does it feel?
Ah. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, amazing. And like it was all good. When I left in the morning to get on the plane, it was all fine. They said, if you haven't been to these particular places, you're good to go. You're welcome. You can come in. While I was on the plane, they updated their restrictions and said, okay, you need a COVID test if you need to come from Brisbane. I'm like, all right. So I got off the plane, had a COVID test at the airport, and then we were waiting for that, and then we were getting dinner, and then they updated the rules again. They said, we don't care about your negative test result. You have to quarantine for 14 days if you are to stay in Perth. So I just rang up and said, yeah, I'm flying home. Like, they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Leave, please.
That is so ridiculous. Just
Yeah.
It's funny that Ryan came one day earlier and he was like, fine. They're like, nah, you got through the deadline. So
yeah, and the only reason I didn't come the day earlier is like I got work and all that sort of stuff. So
man. Okay, so I watched the match. I watched it live when Ryan was pulling Milkman, and like you like there's nothing for you to do there, in my opinion. I'm like, there would not be anything. I don't think I don't know if he was out of shape. How do you see it? How do you see it?
So the shape that I brought, we didn't film how I was training for like 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. I was peaked. We had Ryan Bowen as well as everyone I was training with using bands just to try and slow me down, and like I was pinging peaked. And then everything happened, and I saw the match, and that's why I started a YouTube video. I just said, Ryan, he wasn't in shape. Not to take anything off Ryan Bowen, he wasn't in shape either, which is kind of a real testament to how out of shape that Ryan Scott was. So, sure, our training's been really, really good, but to suggest that we could just not prepare and manhandle someone that dominated Australian arm wrestling for so long is, no, he just wasn't there. And I asked him later, I said, what happened? And he just said, I just underprepared.
He thought that would be enough. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Have you not seen what the Lachlan is lifting? How they are pulling. I think like the I don't know how to say it, but motivation of Ryan wanted to success. It's contagious, and it's hard for everyone in Brisbane not to get it, I believe. So Ryan looked really good, really comfortable, dominated inside. Like I watched that match, and the part when, okay, I will say Ryan too, Milkman takes his hand and then gets back. I'm like,
yeah, and then rolls him back in.
That's like, you will never see a pro do it. All respect, but you will never see a pro do it, because you got this. You don't want this because that's where you are weak, most likely.
Well, I thought what had happened, having felt the way Ryan Bowen arm wrestles, when he hooks, that rotation is significant. Like I don't actually enjoy slamming into a hook with him. I usually find the path of least resistance is to kind of hit straight out like Giannis or like Vlad. It just works a trick. But yeah, so his inside and his rotation is really good. So I think he, had his hand taken, and I legitimately think that Ryan Bowen just went, yeah, no, just slammed him.
Okay, so back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And this is someone who, like, he doesn't work on the farms anymore. The Milkman is no longer the Milkman. He used to work so we got, miles and miles of fencing that he would have had in his own farm. He used to pick up like 100-kilo roll of wire on his shoulder, throw it onto his Land Cruiser, take it home, and do all of his own fencing with no like torsion tools and just tie it off with his hands. He's not doing that anymore. There's no 8 hours of labor that's all hands and anymore. He's a prison guard now. So how does he then replicate that training when he doesn't have motivation, time, the knowledge around how to build strength?
Yeah, makes sense.
He's just out of shape.
Yeah.
Arm wrestler is just out of shape.
So you made your YouTube channel. I will post that link in the description, but you made a challenge. So tell everyone who hasn't heard about the challenge. What's the challenge going to look like?
Oh, I was mad.
Yeah, I look.
Yeah, so the challenge was I do a best of 3, king of the table, Mate, do it by weight. Mate first, then Ben Carroll, then Ryan Bowen. I don't leave the table the whole time. Best of 3, smash through them, 6 rounds. And then that's me, number 1, and don't you dare question it. That was the idea behind it. Having spoken to Ben Carroll since, we are going to have a match, but it's later on in the year. He's got some stuff going on. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So it'll just be me and him. And everyone else we will reserve for our over-the-top tournament in November.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's come to here.
Yeah, you look so strong, and I really want to see you arm wrestle, because like you know, whenever someone asks me where do you put Lachlan, I cannot, there's not enough data. Data on strength level is there, but data on arm wrestling is not there. So it's never a disrespect. It's just not enough data. But me and Giannis were
I agree.
Damn, I agree. You're so strong. You're like, I'm like off camera. We're like, Ryan doesn't have a chance. Milkman doesn't have a chance. Like minus 5,000. We would lose money betting on you. That's how much confidence I have. Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't wrong on that.
Last couple of months, it was always really confusing for me that I used to be a sprinter, then powerlifting. Like, you've seen me lift. That bar's moving quick, or it's not at all. Like, everything's explosive that I do. Why wasn't arm wrestling? And it was just a coordination thing. As much as I look like I'm built for hooking, when you kind of compare my anthropology against Giannis, I'm just like a big Giannis. And the last couple of weeks, or months rather, I've been really hitting that hard back pressure hit. And everything's just coming together really, really nice. It feels natural, feels nice, it feels strong. So, and it's just all those ready-go trainings that we've been doing. I felt sharp, real sharp.
Have more weapons in your arsenal makes you more dangerous. Because in Zloty, you had just hook. You never even tried to open. And maybe some matches you could have done that. You just like surprise, went upstairs and like.
The thing with the way I'm hooking too is like, that elbow planted back pressure ankle lift. I hate that lift. It is the dumbest lift for me in the world. So that doesn't transfer to me for arm wrestling whatsoever.
More
that
drag.
Doesn't either really.
No.
That just no load here and just a really hard crack straight back with the arm and the body. Like, if that gets stopped with me and it got turned into a hook, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
You're still in good position.
Yeah, so I'm hitting to get tight rather than just wailing for the pad and getting opened up. So,
Okay, so I don't think there's no need to talk about your plans, because the plans are dominate Australia and then dominate the world. Summed up? Pretty.
Yeah. Oh, there's a step before that. Yeah. And I don't know which one will come first, but I want to be number 1 in Southern Hemisphere. So I think I've got Wagner, Bortolato I've got to get through. I don't think South Africa matters. There's no one really there that's active and any good anymore. Was that one WAF champion, but I think he's a lot older now. Don't remember his
name. From South Africa, yeah. Terence Upperman. Yeah. I haven't seen him compete in years, so.
Yeah. So he would have been the other person. So apart from that, we got Mate, but yeah, the other one would be Wagner down in Brazil. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and then else when we can finally get there.
Yeah, how does it look like realistically? When do you feel you have have a chance to leave your continent and go to other?
Man, I don't know. The Europe has got to start letting us get some vaccines, because you guys, we had a million doses of the vaccine that prevents transmission.
Okay.
And they ordered the plane to turn around from Europe, not give it to Australia, stuff them, and then and now they've put military at the base of where they're making the vaccines, so you know it doesn't leave Europe.
But like your system that, you know, you have one case and basically full lockdown on that place for 5 days, I think, you know, every time there's something, 3 days. Okay. But it's full lockdown, everything else, but everything's open. You don't have to wear masks and everything, you know, you live like people, you know.
Yeah, we have to wear masks for the 3 days. Mind you, I didn't at all today, and I walked past some police and they just looked at me and I'm like, what are you going to do? And that was fine. But they did at Perth Airport. They made me wear a mask. I walked in without one and they threw one at me.
Okay, so still some restrictions are going on there, because like here it's weird. It's so weird, and all that, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to get the vaccine so I can travel, because they're thinking about making those green passports or something, you know. Giannis is vaccinated already. Like, I don't know.
Can he travel?
Not the passports are not made yet. So like every rule that applies to me applies to him. So it doesn't matter. I'm like,
yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah,
real dumb. Yeah. So when I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, we're not making any vaccines in this country. We're relying for it to be sent to us. A few people I know have had round 1 of vaccines, but I don't know if that becomes obsolete if you leave the second one too long. I don't know.
They still kind of work. They still work. There's still antibodies in your system and everything else. I'm just like, let us be somewhat free, especially when it's summertime. You know, there's
yeah.
They talk.
We were pretty well free. It's just only now, like the weather starts to getting a little bit cold, and just Brisbane's locked down. I think Mario Tambakis has a match with Brett Coots tonight.
I think
on the left hand.
Yeah, right now, something like that.
So he's down in Melbourne, so that's a 2-hour flight from where we are. So that'll be like you to Moscow or something. So it's far enough away, but yeah. So it's only Brisbane that's locked down.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And Ryan is back right now. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, your lifting numbers are so heavy, but like for me, the problem was always the sloppy form. You know, when you get real excited about numbers, you know this, but lately, whenever you post something, it looks really, really good. So you kind of step back on that and, you know, reevaluated yourself.
Yeah, I've changed the whole. I've come away from the Latvian method of training. Mm-hmm. Not for, you know, it's just, and I've got great results from it just because I think it's a very different stimulus to what I was doing before with the Latvian method. And I made massive gains under Giannis, huge. But yeah, I was chasing numbers, always chasing numbers, and that's like the power lifter in me.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I was doing like 90 kilos in here, but it was like, okay, that's fine, get there. So after Zloty, I really noticed a weakness in my hand and my wrist. So what I've been doing for 2 years is training my hand and my wrist, and it's allowing me to start with everything with a lock, stock, straight wrist, and making those movements a lot cleaner. And yeah, like, yeah, we can kind of, I'm sorry, Greg, but I don't want to be like you. Just everything's sloppy. I want everything clean, because if you can do it clean, you can do a lot more messy. But
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
This I always say about all those, you know, high, you know, the strap goes here, lifts, you know, for back pressure. I'm like, even though like Levin is doing it really bad at 90 kilos, he would do really clean at 70, 75. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. So that's where I've kind of gone with all my lifting too, and all that multi-vector stuff that I've been doing. As long as it's feeling like an arm wrestler, like like I said, that elbow planted kind of lever off back pressure, I think that's useless for me. The way I pull, the way I want to pull, it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, I'm just trying to find out what's working and what's not. And I've come up with pretty cool methods. So.
Armwrestling is all about evolution. You know, you need to like, there's some things that will work, and everyone's different. And this is why people want to like they want to mimic someone's style so much that it doesn't even work at all. You know, you want to be Zaluyev, you don't have genetic or the background or, you know, all those things that made him hook puller. But everyone's like,
I get asked about
exercise, do that exercise, doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I used to get asked about Devon's workouts, and I'm like, you haven't done what Devon's done for 20 years. You can't do what he's doing now when you haven't done what he's done for 20 years. Like, it doesn't make sense. So, and I've really been enjoying coaching, getting power lifters and strength athletes, getting them into arm wrestling. And basically, it's like I'm trying to get them out of chasing the numbers. So how do I do that? I set things up where they do have some opportunity to explore that in a very strict manner. And the rest is speed. So they kind of, the weight doesn't matter. No power lifter cares about what weight they're pushing on speed days.
Yeah.
It's not. So I'm getting them out of that ego and making them do it really crisp. And, you know, they're all getting really good results. But it's that sort of athlete that I'm doing well with. Someone who started, you know, started in arm wrestling with a combat background. That's probably not going to work as well. You know?
Yeah, we had this huge phase, and I don't think it's over, of chasing numbers. And it's like, and you look at the world elite guys, and when they post the numbers are like, you know, they cool, they okay. Like whatever Zaluyev is doing, it's big numbers, but you will find 10 people who can do more, but none of them can even touch him. So that's the big difference, you know, figuring out the stuff that works for you and getting better on that.
Yeah, and I'm finally glad to see that the arm wrestling community has kind of gained some sort of maturity about that. And just because I can lift what Saplenkov lifts doesn't mean I can touch him. Like, just calm down, everyone. And they, you know, they have. So it's arm
wrestling is more coordination than everything else. A lot of coordination. And some people just have it dialed in. You know, these. Best example is Vlad. He had it dialed in a year, really dialed in, and then just evolved around it. Some people come in, they're strong, uncoordinated, like you, but you develop it, and that's how you get better. So in Australia right now, the big tournament is that Over the Top at the end of the year, I guess. Yeah. I'm looking at it. If it's possible to go there and they let me in, I would love to go there because it looks very, very. I want to go to Australia. I think it's going to be good weather there, and and shitty weather here.
Yeah, in November it won't be too hot. It won't scorch in November. You'll be hot, but it won't be like
won't be Arizona.
Huh?
Arizona,
like Arizona, but humid.
Okay.
So much worse. It's so much like January, February. It's bad. It's bad in Queensland. It's nicer down south, but over the top, it's in the Gold Coast. I'm really looking forward to that too. Like, not just because of the money, but I just want to compete.
Yeah, so, I believe you. Like, there's so many everything that's going on in the world, all these matches, all these call-outs. At one point, I'm like, guys, stop teasing. Stop teasing me, Yeah, we had RVJ and Zaluyev in talks, but RVJ couldn't make it, and then Zaluyev, there's so many things that we would love to make, especially right now when we have time to think. We're like, we would love to see this. We can make this happen. More people are into social media, building their footprint on arm wrestling world bigger, because there's so many WAF champions that no one will ever know about, and they would destroy any competition they would go to, and it's
Yeah, and I think people need to realize that too. You got a YouTube channel, it's like, yeah, cool, nice, but it doesn't mean that if you have a YouTube channel, it doesn't even mean for a little bit that you're in the top tier of the world. Like we should be using our platforms to kind of introduce these people. Like, hey, we've got people in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkey, just, all those places that are just crazy good.
I think the language is the big barrier. Like, I communicate in Latvian, Russian, English, so it's easy for me. But when some of these countries, no one speaks English, so no one knows you. And you will have like a guy that has never won a real championship in everyone's eyes being much bigger than someone who like has done it 10 times. There's so many of these examples, so.
Oh, I'm one of them. And I'm always telling people, like, calm down, calm down. Like, I haven't done anything. And I said to Ryan Bowen, I said, I don't train to scare people away when I walk in the room. Like, I train to compete. Let me compete.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but really, like, if we can get out November this year, I mean, when we went to Zloty, it was a choice between nationals and Zloty. So I obviously went to Zloty. This year with Over the Top, if there's a choice to go to Zloty or do this, I'm going to do Over the Top. Funny though, have you seen the poster with my mug on it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh yeah, the poster. Yeah, Over the Top poster. That photo was taken when I was eyeing down Gunter's.
Okay.
It was on the left hand. It's the first time I beat him. Remember that.
Gunter's not active right now, I guess.
No.
Okay.
Still a big guy, but he's another guy. You get a win on Gunter's. It's kind of like beating John Brzenk in his backyard.
Okay. Yeah. So, you do you believe York, like Brisbane, is the top notch in arm wrestling in Australia right now? The best?
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
100%. As a club, yeah. And it's, we say Brisbane. Brisbane, we don't actually have like a club at the moment. Brisbane 8. So the Brisbane guys, we train between the Bayside boys, the Gold Coast boys, and at my house or Ryan's house. We don't have a clubhouse anymore. Okay. We don't have a gym. We're all kind of broken up. So the Brisbane boys kind of just float between anywhere and everywhere, and just train as much as we can. So,
yeah.
Brisbane club died when Danny Tesh retired.
Oh, okay. The one beyond them all. I love how Neil is always like, and everyone's like, and again, that's that one mid the legend, that Neil just created, and it's like,
you know what, Neil's ruined it for everyone. I'll tell you why. I heard rumors of Danny Tesh walked past an arm wrestling session at the Gold Coast. He walked past it and he was looking at it like he was tempted, but all the pressure that he has if he came back into the limelight would be through the roof. And he doesn't want any part of that.
Damn you, Neil.
Ruined it for everyone, Neil.
Exactly. Yeah. But I just love it how he made him, this mythical creature, and everyone's like,
I get asked seriously. Like, it's a serious question. People go, "What about Danny?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, can you beat Danny? Hey, do you think you can beat Danny?" And then, I think we need more education. I have so many videos planned in educational space for arm wrestling, just to tell the stories and tell differences of the levels and everything else. Because, like, yesterday I was doing a live stream, and the questions were like, how do you see Giannis versus Ongarbayev? I'm like, maybe Ongarbayev cuts to 75 and then we'll see.
That's an amputee and cuts. Like, they don't realize that Kid Ali is what, like 6'2"?
Yeah.
He's not little.
No. Yeah, it's like how do you see this versus that? And it's like there's some guys, first of all, they will say, like, first, roids don't matter, and second of all, like, weight doesn't matter. And I'm like, why is there weight classes then? Why aren't we just
why they're drug I'm really there's two things that I'm really getting sick of hearing about, and I don't even answer anymore. People go, "What are you stacking? What are you on?" I'm like, I'm not even going to entertain that entire conversation, because if I say nothing, they say you're a liar. If I start saying that, yeah, it's, you know, everything under the sun, there's going to be some person saying, nah, he's natural. like you can't win. I don't have that conversation. I just don't have it.
You go to Plates More Dates and just find info there. You know?
Yeah, that's great. I love Derek.
He's so funny. He's so like, yeah, that's a good one. And it's good that they picked up on arm wrestling as well. So that was cool, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Larry's really helped with that. So I'm really curious where Larry's his plans are in terms of promotion and all.
Like watching Larry, that last video they put, he looks like an arm wrestler on table. Like, you know, the tightness, everything together, that the way you move your hip, that's the big part, where you move your hips with your body, you know, that body language. I'm like, so good. That's so good for the sport. I really wish he does really good, somewhat good with any competition he does, because it would mean all these bodybuilders would come in, all these power lifters would start to look at it, all the fans, the new, it's just amazing things are happening. Of course, there's a lot of uneducated, like everything, you know, they will see 30 minutes of Devon arm wrestling, they like the GOAT, and that's all, you know.
But yeah, interesting about the hips. It's, again, the evolution of my arm wrestling is something that doesn't really get spoken about. And how to learn how to hit was, I had to watch baseballers train. How do they train? What are they doing? And there's no upper body training for a fast-paced pitcher. It's none. It's all coming from their legs. So I thought, I've got these massive tree trunks for legs that put me in a way higher weight class. And it's, you know, watching boxing as well. And it's like, how am I using my hips and how am I, you know, getting all that in? So now, like, my footwork is in a place where my whole body is on the pin side of the pad, and I'm using my legs to launch my upper body off and brace, and twisting my hips and getting some torsion in there as well. So super important. I don't know about you and my programming. I program guys to do a lot of like Russian twists.
Russian twists. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
It's super important, and I always love to see how Kazakh arm wrestlers, especially those who fight in triceps, they will set up like their body is here, but their hips are like this, and they will set up from the side and twist in, and when it's ready to go, they will just like release, and it's you know, all that power coming from down. I think it's Talget who was doing that, and Meghan's doing similar things. You know, all these.
You do it well. I only do that angle when if I press someone hard off the go, it's because I'm bitching them.
Okay.
That's like me being dominant. Just nah. That's when you know they're really, really easy when that happens. But I don't, against anyone any good, I don't have the balls to go there.
No.
It just feels like
you kind of,
I don't know how to do it.
Everyone's always like, how do you not, you know, in your head not to break your arm? When you warmed up, you know, because it's kind of, you go full locked in, especially when someone comes back at you with the same way.
Yeah.
There's no stop. If you stop, you lose 100%. But I really think
my press is so much better.
Sorry, one more.
My flop wrist press is so much better than my wrist control press.
Oh,
off the go.
More back pressure activation. More
fingers.
Yeah.
And I clamp with fingers, and I can kind of knock it in. But you say bench.
Yeah, I said, like, I really believe like that my kind of style was developed from bench pressing, from close grip bench pressing, nothing else.
Well,
the wide grip. Yeah, because it's a lot of shoulder forward, like front of the shoulder. It's tricep, it's everything else. And in arm wrestling, we don't think about this, but we do this with our shoulder. And when your shoulder can take the damage from here, it can take mostly from the side. And when you practice bench press, you do a lot of upper body, a lot of upper back, you know, so there's something that will catch that hit. So it's always, if I'm warmed up, I have no, you know, like no stopping, you know, no chance, you know. It's usually I will lose this, not this. But
I do a lot of shoulders, like overhead pressing, to avoid bench pressing. But recently I kind of picked up pin presses now.
Yeah.
But pin presses from like a little bit more of a spotto angle, like it's a couple of inches off my chest in a close, and it doesn't put that extra strain on my shoulder. Because I'm always managing how my shoulders feel, and they get pretty beat up. So I do lots of overhead work, lots of side laterals, and close grip bench, but from the pins. So I get rid of that eccentric loading, so it's all like an arm wrestling. I'm trying to make that bench more applicable.
Yeah.
So it's just off the pins with no load and just as hard as I can.
Like I really loved, and Todd Hutchings made this JM presses. I really like.
I love it.
But the problem is my shoulders were getting effed up because you're getting out. You roll up forward, and it's very hard to keep them in position.
Were you doing them heavy?
Not too heavy, but I was doing a lot of reps. Like my elbows felt phenomenal. My shoulders, I'm like, oh, it's because and if you keep arm wrestling, all this internal rotation. So I'm using that when my shoulders feel really good, and everything is kind of pulled back. That's when I do them. If I don't do that,
I keep them pinned back, but I do them on you use them on the earthquake bar or barbell?
Oh no, barbell.
Yeah, so I do them. I got a 50 mil PVC pipe that's layered with PVC in the end. Yeah. And I don't go heavier than like 30 kilos tops in that ever. And I do narrows, middles, and wides. I'm always trying to keep them shoulders back. Haven't noticed it load up, but I'm not going that heavy. I do them in giant sets of 20. Like 20 reps. So
I will add bands and put some kettlebells in it. That's we don't have. We were thinking about making an earthquake bar just for kind of that purpose, but I think we need to do it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I really like it, but I don't go heavy on that whatsoever. It's high rep.
Power lifters, they're doing like 180, 180 kilos, and some. I'm like, how does that stays together? That's
Then they don't post for a month because their shoulders are where you go? Nowhere. They're just lying.
Honestly, it's like whenever someone asks me like, what is a good weight for for any exercise, I say like, if you can do 50 on almost every move, you are pretty damn good arm wrestler. If you can do 60 on every move, you are almost elite, and 60 up is elite level, however you look at it, but it's need to be combined almost on everything. So 60 here, 60 here, 60 here, 60, if you can, or 50, they're more solid. And if you have these spots where your shoulder is 5 kilos, that's when you will have that problem. And it's it's always looking at the whole thing together, be most balanced you can be.
Especially with anything behind the shoulder is like my whole warm-up. I've got shoulder hack routines that I send to my students that are just for arm wrestlers, and how to prime that entire area so you don't end up like Sarah Backman and having your stuff thrown out. Your subject just torn apart, all that stuff. But I think people are starting to realize how intricate it is. And you've got people like Engen that are so broken. They're so broken down, and they didn't need to ever get there. Like,
no, I agree.
And arm wrestlers that can't straighten their arms, like there's no excuse for that. It's just you're telling me that you didn't take care of yourself. That's all I see when someone can't straighten their arm.
Like most of our guys are pretty, if you do things like Giannis is really healthy compared to how hard and how many like high level matches, like everything, looking at everything, he's very, very healthy, arms straighten out, everything full range, and he's like been doing this, really focusing on that he can do it long term. Some people just don't want to do the cheat code and just like, I will let my arm get as tight as possible here, then I will lose that range, but I will still arm wrestle. And maybe I will
lose that until someone takes you there, and it hurts like hell.
Yeah. The part where you need to take care of your body is most important, in my opinion. Like if you depends on how long do you want to do this. If you want to do 6 years, you go hard, especially when you're young, go hard and just leave. But most time you will end up broken. And then you will say, like, you know, these stories when someone, like, they were lifting when they were young, really heavy with really shitty technique, and then they go around and say like, no, training is bad, gym is bad, you know, powerlifting is bad, bodybuilding is bad, you know, because you know, I was lifting 200 here and now my back is like, yeah, because that's all you did, you didn't take care of yourself, you know.
Exactly.
These are the same people, they're an arm wrestling, they're like, no, arm wrestling is bad, my elbows hurt. I'm like, do you understand what you need to do, like what the balance is? You know, you do 50,000 moves here, 0 moves back, you know. How do you
Yeah. Like, why is my tricep hurting? Like, these are questions I get mainly from India, but a lot of the questions that I get, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna hurt. Like, if you do tricep extension with some sort of ulnar deviation, you get a really keen sense of the whole chain all the way back. So I do a lot of triceps, a lot.
Yeah, it's
mainly high reps.
Balance from this to this. It's like for every move that we do here, we need to do some move here. For every time we pull back, we need to press back, you know, up, down, things like that.
We don't really need to press. That's the thing. I'm going to stop you there. I don't press, but if we're always pulling, our back muscles are so much more capable of copying daily work, where I think pressing for me, like I haven't bench pressed in a long time, but I can almost do some sort of pulling or external rotation work every day.
Yeah. Okay. I agree there. The pressing part is not that important, but I like my guys doing some stimulus work, you know. When you don't do some kind of move too long, you will develop atrophy for that move. So if you don't do any overheads or any pressing motion, it will be very hard when you try to do it. And when, you know, it's always like, I believe that balance exists. And when you get taken out of that balance, that's where pain and injuries happen. And it's very very easy. You go to practice, and after practice, figure out what is hurting. If the part that is hurting is your elbow, you know, like, did you lose your hand? Did you cup too much? You know, okay, you can figure out stuff there. Maybe you need some extensive training. If your pronator is, you know, really tired after training, maybe it's not conditioned enough, or maybe you need some supination. It's not that hard, in my opinion, to figure out where the pain is coming from. You just need to, you know, apply it in training. And everyone's like, nah, don't care.
Yeah, don't care. And then they go, oh, I'm sore. And then I get text messages. How do I fix this? And I'm like, it could be anything. I don't know. Yeah. But no, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, I think, like, we had this conversation in Arizona where we talked, I said, like, what arm wrestling needs is exchange of information. Like, the powerlifting community did it right. Remember, we were sitting on the mall, and just talking about this. And I feel we're kind of getting there, because RVJ is showing stuff that he's doing, you know.
I like his stuff.
Vitaly,
kind of realized that we're very similar people, and we train similarly as well. So
yeah,
I like this.
The finger part. Like, I think I posted one of, I don't know, at least 3-4 years ago, some videos on boards and how to use them and things like that. But I didn't call it containment arm wrestling, and no one watched it. And no one, like, everyone's like, hey Ray, what did you talk about? I'm like, I talk about this like a long time ago, but people just keep ignoring, you know. So it's good that they're coming in, Vitaly, you know, showing, or Gennady showing, and things like that. It's really good. And Engin showed some stuff, how he's doing the packing thing on the pronator is really smart idea. And a lot of people are just, you know, whenever I see someone doing pronation just like this, where they just slide in, and they will actually not move their hand up, but they will move their hand down. And they're like, big weights, you know.
Yeah, big weight, because
big weight. Big weight.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting smarter. We're getting smarter. Arm wrestling is getting better, and I think the new generation, after 5-10 years, we will see them. We will see them. And
we're seeing guys who have been watching it for a year. Yeah. And actually, like, looking at your stuff, and like, other guys messaged me a year ago. They text me again. I've been watching all of Ray's and Giannis's videos. I've been watching all of this and all of that. And they finally come to training at the Gold Coast, and it's like they've been arm wrestling for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like the way they move is so fluid, and you're like, okay, the strength's not there, but like, holy hell, like,
yeah,
moving so good.
And it was big problem back in it where people were just thinking arm wrestling is just this, you know, and they come to training session, they say, I never been beaten, and we're like, we find the smallest guy, give him the smallest guy, and he just dismantles them, and their mind is blown, you know, they're like, wow.
Yeah.
But you have to teach everything from the scratch. Now it's like they will find the videos, this is they see Devon, they see those things, and I like the time we are in. I just think we need to stop. I think the number chasing will stop eventually, you know, like with sloppy form will stop eventually. And
yeah, I think that was Eagle's fault, and then the rest kind of followed for a period. And then I think that John's lifting stuff has kind of given people motivation to clean things up, make it real tidy.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's good showing the sloppy stuff and the good stuff. I think you got people that aren't lifters that are able to pick up on the really small nuances of what makes it clean. And I think, it's a good way to go. I know John hates it. He cops so much shit. Like RBJ screaming at him on the phone.
Why this doesn't count, or this? Yeah, I don't like the hand here. It's advantage. It's a huge advantage. I like the hand here when he was doing.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I mean, but the hand there. The problem why I did mine here was to keep it off the body, so no one be like, "Oh, he's got it against his hip." It's down my side and comfortable, but I'm not hip hinging. How do I prove that I didn't do that? Apart from no, I didn't. That doesn't work. Yeah. No.
I think we're getting there. It's just a slow process for arm wrestling. We're so far behind to many other sports, and I think the sloppy form will be like in powerlifting, like powerlifters never post anything with sloppy form. They will post fail videos when they fail, you know, or it's a real grinder or something, but they will not post the bad lifts because know the community.
Well, that's really obviously high.
Yeah. The benchmark, the bar is set much higher, and arm wrestling is slowly following it. I really love I was kind of onto Alan Zuluyev's Instagram after he destroyed Arthur Macaro in nationals. So I watched him, and you know, just looking how he trains, and there's nothing sloppy about it at all.
No.
Like everything moving good, and the weights are big. You know, really, like they are not small. So it's again that kind of system Vladikaukas that has, and it's really dynasty. Is
that Arm Sanak? Who's that?
Cool.
Is it called Arm Sanak or something? Sanak. He's done stuff with Anna Glukaya. I don't know her name.
Arm Saric. No. That's another. That's he's a arm wrestling coach, but more on Moscow part. I'm talking about Alan Hajimurat's brother, small. You know. Yeah. Alan Zulu. Like just looking how Haji is training and he is training, and
There's how many Zoloways though? There's 3, right? There's one.
No. First there were Meyerbeck, that's their uncle, Meyerbeck. Then there's Kazbek Zuluyev, that's the father. There's Spartak, Alan, and Haji.
Prison,
Yeah, 3. Yeah, like and all of them have been WAF world champions. The younger one win the juniors 2019. So it's a legacy, just like you know, crazy, and everyone's like that gym is so. I don't want to say the word, but starts with R, strong. There's so many world champs coming from there. It's like crazy. It's just, you know. That's the place I really want to go to and train, just to be in those walls. You know how walls feel, you know. So, that's really
But I move into my new gym, my new house. I don't know what my new house looks like. I haven't seen it, but I have seen the space for the gym. The wife was like, "Here's the shed," and I'm like, "Get it." You're happy with the house? I don't care. Get it. I'm moving next week. It's much bigger. I'm getting a new squat rack come in with like cannonball pull-up attachments, and so I'm excited about that. But I'll probably be offline for a week or 2 until I get my house sorted, and
Yeah, that's good.
Get my gym
Good.
footed.
Hey man, it was nice talking to you. Yeah, I wish you all the success. I want to see you arm wrestle. You look like a tank, and you are a tank.
Thanks.
So yeah, yeah. I'll speak to you
Man, I hope to see you soon.
Yeah,
At some point.
at some
2021.
2027.
I've not.
Yeah. Okay, man. Bye.
Damn it.